Hello and welcome to V8 Online's live coverage of the Oz New Zealand Thursday Night Grand Am Series, proudly sponsored by V8 Online Superstore, Track Racer and Thrustmaster. First time in the host chair tonight, Sebastian Murray Westberg, and joining me for tonight's action, Madison Down. How are you, Matt?
Yeah, pretty good, Seb. It's always great to be in the commentary box for the Grand Am series. We've seen a lot of good racing here in the past, so I'm sure tonight won't disappoint.
Yeah, it's been a great series so far. I've really enjoyed. And normally I'm the one sitting behind the cameras telling you guys what we're looking at, and tonight I'm gonna have someone else doing that for me. We've got a new director joining the V8 Online team tonight, Desmond Hallen, who will be calling all the shots and choosing all the camera angles. So good to have him on board. And yeah, so tonight we've got 50 minutes of multi-class action around Road Atlanta. What's your how do you feel about the Road Atlanta track?
Great track. I really enjoy it. We had a lot of success in the V8. Everyone thought it was a pretty great track, and it's pretty committed in a few places. There's a few blind crests, a lot of undulations and elevation changes around the track, bit of on-camber, off-camber corners, and plenty of good passing zones as well. So yeah, it should be a ripper race tonight.
Yeah, it's definitely proving to be quite a tricky track. Those are coming through turn two, down through the S's towards the back hairpin. A lot of potential for a mistake, and if you're a DP coming up to the lap of McLaren, I reckon you're going to be stuck there till the end of that.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, in the mid-sector of the lap, it's so left, right, consistently, corner after corner. There's not really anywhere to get through. So, but yeah, coming up to turn two, as you mentioned, it's pretty much blind up there. So you just kind of got to turn in and hope for the best. It's really what it's like. It's just a crazy track.
Yeah, it is. It is a very crazy track, and we might actually quickly run through the current standings now, hoping Desi's able to get them up. So, in the Daytona prototypes, Mitch Aberhall is, after a few good rounds, has got himself a nice lead now, 170 points, going back to Christopher Osborne in second. John Emerson, only 4 points off second place. He's been having a few interesting races, some difficult results and some good results. Steve Vainus, who's one of the real potentials of this series, doing a great job in fourth place. Alex Lam also doing a great job. He's seen him in a few races. Baden Reed in sixth place. Matthew Barron after a few one disappointing race and a couple of DNFs, he still managed to hold on to seventh, so he's doing well. Anthony Kernich, Michael Schreier and Michael Fabian rounding out the top 10 of the DPs. In the McLarens, we've got Christian Aliwood, the long-time series driver. He's been doing really well in this series, and currently with a 144-point lead over Martin Turner, Dylan Sharman in third place, David Hingston, Andrew Wren, Blake Coppo, another name that we keep mentioning week in, week out, doing a great job in sixth place. Corey Osborne in seventh, Craig Hunter, David Arnold, and Barry Kennedy rounding out the top 10 of the Oz New Zealand Championship. Now, going into tonight's race, what do you I'm just trying to get up the track info in front of me. We got 50 minutes here with here we are. Now I've got it. So apparently they're doing 214,000 million laps. I don't know. I'm not getting the proper information on my screen, but Christian Aliwood, who does our overlays, he's been doing a great job at finding bugs and fixing bugs and finding more bugs and fixing them, so it's an ever evolving process. Oh, there we go. So DP's looking at probably about 40 laps, 162 kilometers, and the GT will be doing approximately 38 laps at 154 kilometers. We've got 12 turns, 4.06 kilometer track, pit lane speed limit of 72 kilometers an hour. I don't think we'll be having to worry too much about that tonight. 50-minute sprint round, so they'll just be going all out, balls to the wall, and trying to get a good result.
Yeah, that's it. It's just a sprint race tonight, and I know the Riley prototypes actually don't burn that much fuel either, so those guys will be flat out the whole way, and I think they're only burning 1.5 liters a lap as the cars take to the grid now behind the Mustang safety car.
All right, we'll run through the grid quickly as the cars take to the grid. So Matthew Barron, who he's got himself a great pole position with a 113.455 over Richard Hampstead. Brad Ryan doing a good job after his first maiden race last week. John Emerson coming off that win last week is starting in fourth place. Mitch Abrahall, Christopher Osborne, Anthony Koenig in seventh, Alex Lam, Steve Vainus. Gail Nish rounds up the top 10. Go over the page. Reg Berg, a name we haven't seen in this series. He's driving tonight. And Sean Kelly hasn't managed to put down a qualifying time this week either. So, a strong 12-car field.
And for the McLarens, we've got Dylan Sharman there in pole position with a 118.571. That's a blistering lap time. He's got 6/10 of a second over the field. Fabio Gonzalez second. Amano Palombo there in third. Kitty Engstrom fourth. Martin Turner fifth. Edward Van Velsen sixth. Corey Osborne seventh. Warren Chickpack in eighth. David Hingston ninth. Wayne Burke 10th. Andrew Wren 11th. Paulo Martins 12th. Bruce Joy 13th, Tom Wardrop and Nathan Groudon round out the field with no qualifying time presented.
It's a very large, much larger DP field than we've been accustomed to in this series tonight. Normally you're lucky to break the 10 cars in the DP, so it's good to see some new names and new faces coming to the series. And yeah, this section on track now, this is the part we were talking about in the pre-race with that left, right. So hard to get through. And those curbs, you hit those curbs, those things will just bounce so hard.
Yeah, they just launch the car. The car's, you can take a little bit of curb here and there, but if you hit them too aggressively, the car just steps out so unbelievably fast, being so low to the ground and so much aero, the curbs just upset it so much. But you did speak about some different guys in the field, and we got Richard Hampstead, two-time Vet Supercar Online Series champion, up there in second, and Brad Ryan starting to race Grand Am as well, and also Anthony Koenig hasn't been getting in top split every week, and he's up here in seventh as well. And also it looks like Reg Burke, another TTL car. We got 4 TTL cars, 3 DPs and 1 McLaren tonight, so those guys have a big reputation, I suppose, in this series for being on the pace. They've been very dominant in previous rounds, particularly Dylan Sharman.
Yeah, well, last week John Emerson and Dylan Sharman both managed to score wins in their respective classes, so they'll both be looking to try and get out there and match that result. But I'm sure a few of the other boys will have something to say. Matthew Barron, who's been a great ton of speed, he hasn't had much luck with being able to race. He still focuses on his studies quite a bit, so it's good to see him being able to make it this week as the drivers come around through that chicane. Just about to get the green flag, the pace car will dive in and then we'll be good to go.
Yep, and Matthew Barron's gone. He's gone at Richard Hampstead, cuts across straight away to cover from Brad Ryan, I think it is.
Had a great start there, and Dylan Sharman just about to get off the line. He's got a good start.
Bit of contact back there in 5th place between Abrahall and Osborne, is it?
The McLarens have gone through turn 1 now, single file. Nice start from Dylan Sharman. He's managed to get away nice and clean. Fabio Gonzalez is up there in 2nd place, and Emmanuel Palublo, he's done a good job at the start too.
Field nicely spread out in the opening lap here. No one's got into dramas too much. It's a little bit of an effort. That downhill run into the last corner when they take the green, you can't really run 2x2 through there, so they were sensible. Matty Barron out front, good start over Richard Hampstead. He would have wanted that break immediately, and he timed the start perfectly, and he's got a little bit of margin over Richard Hampstead at the moment.
Yeah, he'll be wanting to really get his nose down. I mean, that back straight will provide a fair bit of draft to these guys, so if he can get through this first part of the lap cleanly and gap that out a bit, he'll be hoping to break lead. Already got to about a 1 second gap already, so good first lap from that. And looks like we've got Fabio Gonzalez has had a spin in the back in the DP. He's lost a lot of position side by side coming through the back chicane, having to sit there and wait for the entire McLaren field. That's got to feel like an eternity for him. What go to a replay of that now. So check it out. He's coming down the back straight, and Emmanuel is gotten a good run on him, and he's come through the chicane and.
There's been some door-to-door contact there. There was a fair bit of margin between the cars, but we've seen this in the past with international drivers. It's just a little bit of a net code, as we like to call it in iRacing, and it's just unfortunately turned him around.
Yeah, Fabio's taken himself to the pit, so obviously a little bit of damage to deal with. And that's most of the field spread out. We've got Kitty Angstrom. Sorry, Kitty. That's an interesting name. It's good to see some international drivers making it out to the field today. With some new faces, new internationals. There's David Hingston being harassed by Warwick Spack for, what's that? That's 5th and 6th.
Those two were side by side earlier in the lap, and they've been having a pretty good battle. I think Hingston's just got the move done, but very, very deep into the chicane, both of them then. Have a look at Reg Burke from TTL there. Started rear of field in the DP class, and he's chasing down Alex Lamb and Steve Vainus. He's probably got quite good pace. Reg has done a lot of racing in the DPs over the years previous, so I'd say he'll be trying to march his way through the field here. He's got a good run on Alex Lamb here, coming down into the final chicane. He sneaks up the inside, not quite enough of a gap there. Up front, Matty Barron continues to lead. Richard Hempstead and Barron both did 1 minute 14.5 that time around, and Brad Ryan as well in the 14.5. So those guys are matching each other's lap times lap after lap.
Been a good run from Brad Ryan so far. He's managed to keep Richard Hampstead in tow, and managed to pull a little bit of a gap out from John Emerson with Mitch Aberhall and Chris Osborne in a good battle behind them too. So been a good couple of opening laps.
Yeah, those guys up in the top 5, top 6 are very, very close pace-wise. I don't think anyone's really going to break the draft as such. This draft down the back straight, as we see now, it's just massive with these cars. The big rear wing literally fires the air straight up vertical, so these guys get the draft from around about a second and a half back.
You can see Chris Osborne here now having to really start to pull in on Mitch Aberhall. These two have been old sparring partners, had some good races against each other. And
yeah, the other thing to note, we talked about it last season when the guys were here as well.
Reg Burke made contact with Alex Lamb. That's been a bit of contact in the chicane there. Reg Burke has come down. He's got a great run down the back straight. Let's go to a replay. He's come into the chicane, just outbraked himself, and Alex has just turned in, not knowing it was going to be that wide. And
yeah,
a little bit of contact.
I just think Alex just didn't quite estimate that right. He just turned in a little bit too soon, but Reg certainly came into the braking zone extremely deep. Got the move done. Hopefully Alex Lamb's got out of that without any steering damage, because wheel-to-wheel contact like that's normally pretty ugly.
It definitely has a big effect. You can see just on his nose there's a little bit of a dent in, but hopefully that won't affect him too much as the race progresses. We've got a battle heating up between Paulo Martin, Edward Van Velsen and Wayne C. Burke down in the DP field. Cool. I'm not accustomed to trying to find what position they're in. 8th, 9th and 10th these guys are battling for.
Yeah, Burke starting to really have a good look at Van Velsen. As Van Velsen steps the car out very, very sideways over that curb. There's a few good battles up and down the field. We talked about the DP guys up the front being really close, but looking through this McLaren mid-pack, there's a few three-car trains.
Down Niche has got big... Oh, he's managed to roll it coming out of the S's. See if we can't get a replay up on screen. Coming through the S's, he's just hit that curb a little bit too hard, gotten him loose, and he's just fired it into the thing and ended up rolling down there towards the hairpin. Unfortunate incident for Down Niche.
Easy to do. That's the uphill left, and he's just stepped it out coming up the hill and pretty much ended up in the concrete wall, and that'll be race over. That's huge damage for Dale Niche.